and welcome back to the channel, and on today's video we are going to rank the most recent cozy slash farm games that I've played on the Nintendo Switch and give you worst to best. There was some good ones and there was some bad ones. I feel like it's very overwhelming. We're getting a ton of these types of games and a lot of them are very much the same, or they share similar game mechanics. And I feel like these games are very different though. You know, it's different seeing like a trailer rather than playing it. So I want to make this very honest video today and rank the games that I've played. Yes, I like holding my microphone. It needs me. So let's get started with the very first game. Starting off the list, we have a puzzle farming game called Agriculture. Now, I kind of picked this up on a whim. It was just on the eShop. I saw it. I wanted to play something. That's how most games happen. But this is, like I said, a puzzle farm game. And it's a really frantic game where basically you have an assignment or like crops that you need to grow. You need to till the soil. You need to plant the crops. You need to water them. And you have to do it within a certain time limit. And I am a huge fan of puzzle games. I really like puzzle games. They're great to play, you know, right when you're about to go to bed or something. And I love the idea of a puzzle farming game. But for me, this one, there was a few things wrong with it. So again, I do like the idea of it, and it did provide a pretty good challenge. However, there are a couple big things wrong with it. First of all, the controls, very clunky. I didn't really like the controls. Kind of hard to move your character around. And the difficulty was crazy. Like, it spiked up after like level 5 or something and got super difficult to the point where it wasn't a relaxing puzzle game anymore. So I give Agriculture a D. Next up on the list, and I think this might be a controversial one here, but Paleo Pines. Now, this is a very interesting dinosaur sort of rancher slash farm game slash exploration sim thing. Paleo Pines, I love the idea of it. You know, to bring in farming with dinosaurs, I think is super cool. And to have a big-ish, open-ish world to explore is also very cool. Now, I haven't played this game a ton, so take what I say with a grain of salt, but it didn't really click for me. I don't know what it was. I think it was just, it did a lot of interesting things, but I don't think it did necessarily those things well. Like taming the dinosaurs in the world was okay. Using them to help you farm was okay. I don't know. I just didn't think there was a huge payoff at the end of all of it. One of the biggest things for me was I don't know how I like this game visually. The performance is also very so-so on the Switch. I think if you are going to get this game, Steam is probably the way to go. But yeah, I don't know. The game really didn't click with me. I still think it's a above average game, but for today's video, I'm giving it a C. Let me know if I should play this game more. Today's video is brought to you by two different snack subscription boxes. We have Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. Now, these boxes include 20 of the latest and greatest Japanese snacks, and this month has some pretty good themes. Starting off with Tokyo Treat, we have the Halloween Snack Haul, which includes some amazing snacks, including the Sweet Potato Kit Kats and the Monster Bubblegum. The Sakurako box, this theme is Kyoto's Crimson Leaves, and this is one of my favorites. It includes teas, it includes little cakes, and check out this hand-painted dish that's included with every box. Now, one of the cool things about these boxes is it each comes with a guide to let you know what each of the snacks are and some of the allergy information. If any of you are interested, you can use code NintenTalk for $5 off your first Tokyo Treat box, or $5 off your first Sakurako box. Thanks again so much for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to the rest of it. Next up, we have Rune Factory 3 Special, which is a remake of Rune Factory 3, which I believe was on the DS. Now, this was one of the first cozy games to appear in September. And I gotta say, I never played Rune Factory 3 before, so this was kind of cool, playing a slightly enhanced version. And I gotta say, this is a solid game, especially if you are a Rune Factory fan. Now, if you didn't know, Rune Factory mixes sort of the best of both worlds. You got a pretty good RPG, and you got a good farming game. Add in some romance options, and honestly, you have a pretty solid title here. I mean, I love the story. I love the farm mechanics. The amount of marriage candidates, I believe there's 11 in this game, is great. However, there are some drawbacks. Let's talk about those. It is a remake, again, of Rune Factory 3, so I was playing this game and it felt dated, you know? I mean, I love remakes that include a lot of quality of life options. This game, unfortunately, didn't have a ton of those, so if you are playing some of the newer Rune Factory games, this one might feel a little ancient to you. You can also only play as a male character, which isn't a huge deal for me, obviously, but, you know, for some other people, I think this might be a deal breaker. So, I mean, Rune Factory 3 Special, I think it's worth getting maybe on a sale or something. I would give it a C+. All right, next up was one of my most anticipated games of the year, and I still do enjoy this game. This is Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. Another remake on this list. This is a remake of A Wonderful Life on the GameCube, I think of a couple other platforms. And I gotta say, I started a lot hotter on this game than I am now. And I still do like playing this game. Let's talk about it. So first of all, in terms of remakes, I think this one kind of hits a home run. Love the new visuals. The performance of this game, I will say, is one of the best performing farming games that I've played on the Switch. It runs very, very smooth, and everything in the game, like the farming, taking care of animals, the relationship stuff, fishing, all of that stuff is done very, very well. It's a solid game mechanically. And I really do like how this game focuses in on the relationship part of it. So it's very story driven. Each year in game kind of plays out as a chapter. And I thought that was cool because like chapter 1, you'll meet all the characters for the first time. Chapter 2, some characters might leave, more characters, you know, might show up in the town, which I thought was very cool. I like the relationship stuff. They added in a bunch of new cutscenes. It's pretty solid. Where it falls apart for me is just the daily grind is not that interesting enough, for me at least, to recommend to other people. I think the amount of content in this game, it's just not there, and especially a game that's almost full price. I think this is $49.99. I have seen it on sale before, but that's sort of my problem. I mean, there's not really a lot to do. And what makes matters worse is that the in-game days are definitely on the longer side, 20, 25, 26 minutes sometimes. So, I mean, there's just not enough to do for me to personally recommend it. I think it's a very solid remake. I'm very excited to see what Story of Seasons does from here, but this game, I'm giving it a C+. Next up, this is one of my big surprises recently, and this is a game called Sprout Valley. And first off, I want to set the tone here. This game is $5, 5.00, which is way less than pretty much every other game that we're going to be talking about today. And the game normally, I think, is like 15 to 17. So if you can grab it on sale, I definitely would recommend that. But I just fell in love with this game. I love it visually. I love the gameplay loop. Essentially, it's a very simplistic, you know, sort of cute, kawaii, like farming game where you play as this like little rabbit and you pick a starting island. You can choose between a bunch of different starting islands and you basically farm and you fish, and it's sort of like very relaxing and you know, just a chill game. You can go to these mystery islands every day that are randomly generated. So I just feel like this is the ultimate pick up and play. If you got 10, if you got 15 minutes to just pop in like a low pressure farming game, I think this might be the one. Now, with that being said, and remember, it's still a $5 game, it's a little too simple for my liking. I think this game is super addictive. I love the gameplay loop, but what you see is basically what you get. There are little surprises, little story surprises here and there, and there is a bigger goal to work towards, but I think this game is a little too shallow, but again, for the price, it's pretty solid. Another thing is the world that you're on, depending on which world you pick, because they're all different sizes. I think they are a little bit too small because you do unlock different decorations in this game, and I felt like I didn't have the space to do what I want, like do my farming, put out decorations, and there's no way to expand, at least as far as I know. So I do like this game. It does have its shortcomings, but for the price, I would definitely give it a B. Next up is probably one of my biggest surprises. This game was on my radar, but I was super skeptical, and that is Harvest Moon Winds of Anthos, the brand new open world game from Natsume. And what I will say It does have its problems, which we'll get to in a second, but I can wholeheartedly recommend this game. Now, if you didn't know, this is kind of spinning the farming genre on its head a little bit, because this is a full-on open world farming game, which I think is a bit unusual considering most farming games have a very restrictive, limited world. Now, because of that, you will explore around different biomes, and depending on where you are, because you can have multiple farms, your crops will also reflect that. So if you're in the cold area, you might have frozen corn. Like, I don't know, I kind of like that. There's also a big emphasis on taming and caring for animals. So another cool thing about this game is you can find wild animals and you can slowly tame them and then bring them back to your farm, which I thought was super cool. There's a bunch of different mounts in the game, and I love the gameplay loop. I feel like the days are a little on the short side, but I always have something to do. Now we have to talk about this. This is the big elephant in the room. The game looks and plays a little rough. And I will say that the graphics, I think, are fine. I mean, they kind of resemble like the more modern Pokemon games. I don't think they're anything super special, but the performance, at least on the Switch, that's the only version I've played, is a little rough. There is slowdown, there is stuttering. I never thought that it really interfered or affected my gameplay at all, but it was definitely noticeable. And I think the bigger thing to talk about is the open world itself, because yeah, you can explore this giant world, but there's not a ton in it. That just kind of shows you how good the core gameplay is, because those are two very big critiques on this game. I still think the gameplay is solid enough. The story is cute. I like that. I like sort of rebuilding this world. Winds of Anthos, I'm giving it a B+. Next up is a game that actually came out 1 year ago. I haven't really talked about it too much on my channel, and that is Potion Permit. Now, I absolutely fell in love with this game and was super addicted at one point, but now it's getting some new updates, so I'm going right back in. Now, this game is very different because it's actually not a farming game. I don't even think you can do farming in this game, but what you can do is forage items. And I always love that. I love exploring these worlds and getting little ingredients and flowers and different berries and stuff, because it is up to you to create potions, because you kind of act like the town healer. So people in your town will get sick from time to time, and it is up to you to craft potions to cure whatever sickness they have. To do this, you know, you have to get your ingredients, but there are also some mini games that you have to play to actually create the potion. As you cure people in the town, your relationship goes up with them. There's a lot of interesting and diverse characters in this town, and it was just a pleasure to learn more about them. Once your relationship goes up, you will get some more cutscenes. It's just a great game. Now, I will say one of the things that I struggled with, and the only thing that I think is negative about this game, is there is a certain wall that you kind of you have nothing left to do. And that is probably at the 20 to 30 hour mark, I feel, which is decent enough for a game like this. It's not like a giant game, but there is sort of a wall where you kind of beat it and there's really nothing to do. But like I said, there is a brand new update coming to this game that adds in new side quests, new mini games, new characters. So I'm definitely excited about that game. This one should be on your radar. It's been out for a year, so you could probably get it on sale at this point. Potion Permit is an A all day long. And finally, the game that I think stood out the most, at least from the games that I played recently, is Fae Farm. Now, this takes another, different spin on the farming life sim genre. This sort of puts a fantasy fairy twist on it. So Fae Farm, yeah, it's a fantasy sort of farming game, and I absolutely love this game. I adore the art style. On Switch, by the way, it performs very, very well and looks comparable to the Steam version, which is the original version that I played this on. So all of the controls and game mechanics feel amazing. I feel like this is one of the better Switch games in terms of controls, in terms of performance. Like, it's all there. The farming is there. You can take care of animals. You can catch bugs. You can go fishing. There is this giant overarching story. And one thing that this game has that none of the other games have, well, Sprout Valley a little bit, decorating is like so good in this game. You can decorate not only inside your house and you get multiple houses, but you can actually decorate your farm with fences, but also actual decorative items. And that's huge for me. There's also different seasonal events at the end of the month, and those are themed items as well. This is a game that I've easily put at least 30 hours in, and I feel like I haven't even done a fraction of what this game offers. It's that good. Now, a couple drawbacks in this game that I can talk about is, first of all, the price. It's $59.99. It's a full price game, and I feel like something like this competitively should have been priced at like 30 or 40. I will say the Switch version does come bundled in with future DLC, so you are technically paying for the game and sort of a season pass sort of thing, but I still do think it's on the higher end. And also the NPCs and shopkeepers and stuff, like, I just don't feel like they're super alive in this game. Like, for example, the shops are open all the time. Like, the shopkeepers just stay in one area. They never go home or leave or anything. Also, the different NPCs and marriage candidates are just kind of, I don't know, it's a little bland in terms of, like, if you like romance in these types of games. I think that's where this game falls flat. Now, I rank this game an A. I really do think it's that good. And again, it does have some more content, promised DLC coming to this game. So this could easily land an S for me, but I think it's a very good start. All right, so there you go. Those are the recent games that I've played in order. Let me know if I got the order right. Let me know if I was dead wrong about a certain game. Again, some of these games I need to play more. Paleo Pines, Rune Factory, I feel like I need to dive in more, and maybe those scores will change. Also, games like Potion Permits and Fae Farm and even Harvest Moon, those scores actually might go up because they are getting additional content added to them. So yeah, let me know what you thought of this video. Should I do this every month? I think it'd be fun. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, everyone.